Alright, what is going on, you guys? This is Tracy coming back at you with another video. And today, we got ourselves a 2012 Mac Mini that I purchased on eBay for around $42, give or take. In this video, we're going to be doing a bit of upgrading today. We're going to be upgrading its RAM from about 4 gigs of RAM to a much faster 16 gigs of RAM. And we're going to be replacing the slow hard drive that consists of about 500 gigs to a much faster SSD. We got a lot to cover today, and hopefully I don't manage to screw up the upgrade process, and hopefully everything just turns out smoothly. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And here we have the 2012 Mac Mini. That's one of the things I like about it. It's just so, it looks pocketable, even though it won't fit in an actual pocket. You can just hold it in your hand like this. That's how small it is. That's what I really like about it. And let me zoom in on that right there. What that say? That says, let me see, can I focus? Focus. Yep, 2012 Mac Mini. Look at it. It looks so premium feeling. That's one thing you can say about Apple devices. They look so premium. They feel premium too. And what they have in the back, what do we have in the back? We have the HDMI, for USB ports, SD card reader, and the like, headphone jack. Yep. And that is about much as the IO that I can pronounce. But that is basically what the Mac Mini looks like. Let me pop you over here to give some context of how small it is. Here is a Happy Meal box, and the Mac Mini is bigger than the Happy Meal box, but it's around similar sizing. That's how small it is. See, look at that. Look at that. Here's your order. Alright, enough of the Happy Meal box. Now it's time to get this Mac Mini turned on, and let's see how it actually runs with this 4 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of hard drive goodness. And here is the box that it came in. Fruit box. Close enough. We'll use that as a stand for the Mac Mini. In addition to the fruit box stand of choice, we also have a cheapo portable monitor that I got for around $20. Kind of a steal, actually. So now we're gonna finally get this 2012 Mac Mini turned on, booted up, and we're gonna see how it's really rolling. Let's go. Yes sirree, this is an absolute mess of a setup, but it's doable, it's workable. Alright, let's turn this thing on. We turn on the timer. Let's go. I heard the chime. I'm gonna give it a moment. Alrighty, we're still waiting. We're about a minute in. We're still waiting. It's still going along. Come on, Mac Mini. Come on, Mac Mini. Hurry up. Alrighty, we're at the login screen, and it took about 1 minute 41 approximately. Well, you could just be like, oh, you can't wait almost 2 minutes. No, I can't. And so as to not waste any more of your time, I already wiped the previous owner's data, so we could just get right into the Mac Mini without doing all that extra work. So I'm gonna sign into it right now. Oh my god. Oh man, come on, hurry up. There we go. We're going in. We're going in. We're not in yet. We're not in yet. Oh god. Oh, finally. There we go. We're finally in the Mac Mini. We're finally in. Let's go to About This iMac. Welcome to macOS Catalina. My god. There we go. See it right there? Late 2012 Mac Mini running macOS Catalina with about 4 gigs of RAM. Yikes. And all the other miscellaneous things that I do not know about. Now, this is the 2012 Mac Mini. So let's see how fast it can open up Safari. I haven't actually opened up Safari yet, so let's get into it. Got my phone set up. Hold up. Let me put you right here. Let me see if I can do this. It's blocking the way. Hold on. There we go. I got it. Ready? And go. Alright, timer's rolling. Okay, not bad. About 6 seconds, give or take. Oh god. There's the pop in. There's the pop in. But 7 seconds, give or take. Let's try going on YouTube. See how fast this RAM actually is. Alrighty, we got YouTube typed up. Let's test the timer right now. Come on. Come on. We not loaded up yet. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're almost there. We're almost there. Gotta wait for the extra pop in for it to complete. Where the YouTube logo at? Alright, there we go. Okay. Are we almost there? We almost there. And should we time it? Should we count it? Boom. I'm gonna count it right there. So about 45 seconds. Yeah. Just to load YouTube. Just to load YouTube. 4 gigs of RAM. 45 seconds to load YouTube. That is slow. Anyway, it's almost a minute. I mean, in this day and age, should be coming in like 5 seconds, like that, like, you know. But that is really slow. This day, 4 gigs of RAM, that ain't gonna cut it today. One thing I want to try for a quick second, I want to try to open a Finder and see how fast that will take. So let me move the mouse. Stupid bed. 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Timer's off. Timer's on. Okay, hold on. So we check like 2 seconds around. About 8 seconds, give or take. It's a fresh install. It's a fresh, you know what I'm saying. I wiped the drive, so there's nothing on it. So that's probably why it's so fast right now. But it's still, it's still a hard disk drive at the end of the day. So, it's gonna be slow regardless. All right, let's try opening up something else. Let's try opening up the App Store. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, boop. Okay. All right, waiting. Oh, hold on. Let's try double clicking this time. 3, 2, 1, go. Boom. Right. Not gonna stop until everything is popped up, or most of it. Let's do click, yeah. We'll just pause right here for now. 21 seconds. That's passable. I'm gonna give it that. It's passable. I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of smooth for what it is, Even with 4 gigs of RAM is open up. The App Store pretty fast. But again, fresh installed is standard there. That's probably a factor of why it's much faster now. One thing I notice about macOS is like when I scroll, it's like I'm scrolling up to scroll down, and then I scroll down to scroll up. It's inverted. I don't like that. That's a bit weird. Has something, something to get used to. I don't really like that. Let's try playing a quick video and see how that 4 gigs of RAM is actually working. Did I click on it though? Hold on. Yeah, I did. See that? See, it loaded up all right. Again, it's fresh install. It is what it is. But I bet you if it had some stuff on there, it would have been slower. But regardless, we're gonna sort all that out today. Wait, I forgot to show you guys something. I refreshed it, so I'm just gonna scroll down to. Let me just see how fast it's doing. Got a little pop in. I'm scrolling. A little bit of lag there. Yep. See, that's the 4 gigs of RAM that I'm, doing its thing. It's gonna, it's gonna lag. But like I said, we're gonna sort that out today. We're gonna get that sorted up right now. See, so I'm scrolling. Okay, it's really fast now, but it's gonna have its hiccups. Like right now, I'm scrolling. There we go. But we're gonna sort that out right now. See that? See it? It lagged a bit. I'm about to stop recording it. It lagged a bit. We're gonna get that sorted out right now. Now, like I said, I'm going to be replacing this Mac Mini's 4 gigs of RAM with about 16 gigs of RAM. And the RAM that we got today is this 2 8 gig sticks of DDR3L RAM from a brand called Juhor. Got it from AliExpress because obviously you should get the RAM that has anime girls on it. That means it's automatically going to work. Now, I got these for about $11 or so with coins, give or take. And you're probably thinking, why would you buy like AliExpress RAM? Like, what, just to save a couple dollars? Yes, absolutely. And if these don't work, at least we got 4 that works. At least if these are busted, we know the 4 gig works. Just to save a few bucks, that's okay with me. If they work, they work. But we're gonna find out today. And we're going to be replacing the old spitting hard disk drive with a used WD solid state drive, 500 gigs. Yeah, I know, but it was used. It was about $25. So I saved a little bit of money. And you're like, what? You could have just bought, a brand new one for a couple dollars. But I saved a couple dollars. So we're gonna actually see if it works. The seller said it works, but we're gonna find out today. But hopefully I don't screw this up. You're in for a ride. So without further ado, let's turn off this Mac Mini and let's get to upgrading. Alrighty, we have the 2012 Mac Mini as well as a cheap ass AliExpress screwdriver kit. Bop. And we have our parts of choice. So without further ado, let's get right into the upgrade. I was able to complete this upgrade with the help of a video by the YouTuber JenSD_BE for a more visual guide, as well as the iFixit guide of the 2012 Mac Mini. I will put both of those links in the description box below. And with that out of the way, let's begin the upgrade. Alright, so the first thing that I did is twist off the bottom lid of the Mac Mini using my thumbs. It was a bit harder than it looks, but anyways, I used my screwdriver to then pry that lid right off. And so now the next step is to eject the previous RAM sticks that were in the 2012 Mac Mini by pressing on the RAM tabs on the sides. So we got the first RAM stick out, and then we gotta press on the RAM tabs to release the second RAM stick right here. So I have to gently pry that out, and bam, there are the original RAM sticks that came in the 2012 Mac Mini. Okay, so the next step that we're going to be doing is screwing out the screws that hold the fan in place. So right now what I'm doing is screwing out the first screw and then just prying it out with my fingers. Next, I'm going to go to the second screw and doing the same thing, just giving it, more time to screw it out and then pry it out with my fingers once again. I had to twist it off like that, a bit more twisting. So next, what the guide said, not to screw that screw at the bottom right that's holding the fan. See that? And just gently pry it out. That's not what I did. As you can see right here, I'm being a bit rough with it, and you don't want to do that. So see right here, thankfully I got it out without breaking something, because if you were too rough, you could break something on the motherboard, literally break something on the motherboard, and I was not trying to do all that. As you can see, I was trying to double check that it could plug back in, and it was, thank God. But we got the fan out. So next, we're going to screw this screw out, holding this weird triangle tab thingy. I don't know what it is, but after we do that, we gotta gently pry that thingamabob out. So next, we're going to work on these 4 screws that hold in the Wi-Fi antenna in place. So we got the first screw right there, By the way, those first screws that I'm doing right there, they hold the bottom lid of the Mac Mini in place. So that was an interesting tidbit. Next, I'm going to these bottom screws, which not only hold the Wi-Fi antenna in place, but also hold down the hard drive. So that's interesting. So I got that screw right there. And that second screw, I just basically pried it off with my fingers. I couldn't get it with the screw. So now what I'm going to do is gently pry out the Wi-Fi antenna. So I have to make sure that I don't snap the cable. I make sure not to snap the Wi-Fi cable. So I have to gently pry that Wi-Fi cable so it can be visible. And so next, what I have to do is gently disconnect the Wi-Fi antenna cable. Gotta gently pry it out like so. And there we have it. So next we gotta disconnect the hard disk drive. It's in the motherboard. Just gotta gently pry that out. Pry that off with the spudger. So next, what I did is just gently pry out the hard disk drive, like so. Just gently remove it, like so. And there we have it. This is the original hard disk drive for the 2012 Mac Mini, still functional and working. So next, what I'm going to do is unscrew these screws right here, which are we're going to use those screws, transfer those to the SSD. So we got to remove those. Got that first screw out, and we're moving to the second screw. So we almost got it, and bam, got to be careful not to lose those. So the next thing we're going to do is disconnect the SATA connector. We're going to need that. That's going to go to the SSD. We need that. So we've got to gently pry that tape off. We don't really need that anyway. Just gently pry that tape so we can disconnect this SATA connector. And there we have it right here. So now we have the WD SATA SSD used, but hopefully functional. So now what we're going to do is put that same SATA connector back onto the SSD. So make sure that's connected. Boom. I was, make sure just pressing down on it. You don't have to do all that. I did that, just for peace of mind's sake. So next we're going to use those previous screws, and we're going to put those onto the SSD. So we got the first screw, getting that in there. Got the first screw, and we got the second screw. These screws are real tiny screws, but we got it done though. We're getting it done though. Make sure those screws are tight. Make sure they're nice and tight. So now we're gonna put the SSD into the Mac Mini. There are two holes in there in the Mac Mini where the screws are supposed to align. It took several tries, but I managed to get it flush right before you. So after we get the SSD in, we're gonna reconnect it back to the motherboard. So after we do that, we're gonna reconnect the Wi-Fi antenna cable. It took some trial and error. I had to use a flashlight, but once got that going, make sure that's gently connected, and boom, we got that connected right there. Bam. So now what I'm gonna do is gently maneuver this cable over to the upper left hand side so we can then reposition the Wi-Fi antenna back to where it previously was. So make sure everything is all good. Gotta reposition that, and there we go. So now we're gonna re-screw in the screws for the Wi-Fi antenna. So we got those two bottom screws. I generally don't think it's doing anything for the SSD. Now it's not a hard drive anymore, it's the SSD. The hard disk drive is a SSD, but gotta put those screws in regardless. So again, we got those two screws in. So now we got the second to last screw for the Wi-Fi antenna, got that in. But for some reason, the last screw was not screwing in properly. It was not aligned properly at all. It was not screwing properly. Come to find out, the Wi-Fi antenna is not aligned properly, and I generally don't know how to resolve that. But either way it go, I have to finish up the video. So we're gonna put back this triangle thingamabob back into the Mac Mini, and screw it right back in with the screw that was holding that in place. So let's get that going. So after we do that, we're going to reconnect the fan. And yes, I double checked. It does indeed work. It does blow air, so that's good. Thank goodness. Thank goodness I didn't break that. I did not want to break the fan or the motherboard. That would be a literal nightmare. But once we got that going, we pushed the fan back into that bottom right screw, and then afterwards we're putting those two screws back where the fan is held in place. So now we have the AliExpress Johor RAM sticks, 8 gigs each, totaling to 16 gigs of DDR3L RAM. So I'm putting in the RAM. It was a lot harder than it looks because I was nervous that I'm on camera. It would be a lot easier if I wasn't on camera, but nevertheless, we got that going. So we got the first RAM stick down, and we're getting the second RAM stick down, and I broke one of the RAM tabs, but we got the RAM sticks in, thank God. So now we're putting in the bottom lid back on the Mac Mini. It is not aligning because that screw on the Wi-Fi antenna is not put in properly. So if anybody knows how to fix that, please let me know. Okay, so it's about 2 days later. I record these videos at night, so after I was done with the Mac Mini, it was damn near daylight outside, and I have to rest a bit because, you know, when I get a bit stressed out and anxious, my stomach starts to hurt. So I was like, nah, let me sleep on it. And so now we're back here today with the 2012 Mac Mini in one piece, kinda. I just need to fix that antenna situation, but for the most part, it looks to be in order. But we're gonna have to turn it on and see if it actually boots up so I can install the operating system. So let's get right into that right now. Alrighty, so now we got the Mac Mini all set up in its rastnets of a setup. So we're gonna turn it on and see if it actually boots up. Let's actually see if it actually posts. Okay, I heard something. Okay, it has a question mark envelope. So this might be a good sign. So that probably just means I need to reinstall Mac OS. So let me get to doing that right now. Alright, so I got internet recovery doing its thing. So I'm gonna have that load up and I'm gonna be back when it's done loading. And there we have it. We have the utilities section. So now what I'm going to try to do is reinstall Mac OS. So let me get to it in a second. And we got OS Mavericks. I thought it was on Catalina, but it said Mavericks. Alright, if you say so. Continue. You will be verified. Sure, why not? And there we got it. Press agree. Yes, yes, yes. Let me just use the Mac Mini as a mouse pad. Better than using the bed. For some reason, I don't see the drive popping up for whatever reason. Why is it not popping up? Give me a second. Oh, okay. So what happened was I had to actually format to the drive. That's why it wasn't appearing. But as you can see, it said my drive. So now it's formatted. It's visible. So now I could just use it like that. And we can install Mac OS again. But we're not going to stick on Mac OS for long because I got another plan I'm going to do with this Mac Mini, so stay tuned. But for now, we're just going to reinstall Mac OS. So I'm going to just let that sit for a moment. And we're at the welcome screen. In just a few steps, you can register and set up your Mac. Let's do that right now. Select your keyboard, US keyboard. Transfer information to this Mac. Don't have any right now. Sign in to Apple ID. Don't sign in. I don't have an Apple ID. Yes. Skip. Don't got one. Terms and conditions apply. Yes. Alright, create an account. Let me do that right now. Let me see what kind of profile pictures we got. We're gonna pick a penguin. We're just gonna pick that. There we go. Register your Mac. Not going to register right now. Yep. Skip. Setting up your Mac. Let's get to it. And there we go. We got everything set up. Oh God. We're in Mac OS. Wi-Fi is working. That means I set up the Wi-Fi correctly, the antenna correctly. Well, that little cable, mind you. So that means Wi-Fi is working. Alright, so let's go to about this iMac. Ooh, what that say? 16 gigs! 16 gigs! Ooh, God, this thing looking old. Hold on. This thing looking old. Software update? Did we get a software update? We're in the App Store. Let's see that RAM go to work. Let's see that RAM go to work. Checking for updates. Come on, let's go. Oh God, it looks updates. Look at the updates. I'm gonna update it real quick. Let me see what happens if I update it. Installing software updates. Come on, let's get it. Alrighty, we're done with the updates. Not yet, actually, because look at this App Store. It looks so old and ancient. I'm lying, but you know. And look at this, apps and games we love. macOS Sequoia. Let's get that. What's new? Version 15.6. Bug fixes. Updated July 30th, 2025. Free! Price free! 12 gigs. Let's get it! Why not? This version cannot be installed on this computer. Oh my God, man. Then what can? But in any event, this Mac Mini now has 16 gigs of DDR3 memory. That is insane. The AliExpress RAM actually works and is detected. Look at that. 8 and 8. There you go. And what do we have? 500 gig SSD. Boom, bam, and bop. They both work. Alright, let's try opening up Safari. One bounce. Literally one bounce, but it's look old too. Good God. Okay. Yikes. Look at it. Ugh. Let's try to do this with one hand. Oopsies. Let's go to youtube.com. Hold on. Let me get the timer up. Hold on. We got the timer. About to go to YouTube in 3, 2, 1. Update browser. Yikes. Okay. Hold on. Alright, seeing as Safari is acting a bit weird right now, I'm going to, patch Catalina on this old Mac Mini by using DOS-Dude1's Catalina patcher. I tried to use the open core legacy patcher, but it couldn't work on this version. Was it Mavericks? So I'm using DOS Dudes, and we're gonna see if it actually works. Alright, here we go. macOS Catalina. Click continue. Agree. Yes. The drive. Install. Can I get a time estimate or something? Come on, hurry up. There we go, finally. 13 minutes. I'll be back, and here we have macOS Catalina. Late 2012 Mac Mini. Memory 16 gigs. Boom, bam, and a bop. Let me see that one more time. What'd that say? Oops. This is so bright. Let me adjust that. 8 gigs. Boom. 8 gigs. 2 and 2. That's 16. See that shit? They work. And the storage as well. Bam. 500 gigs. SSD goodness. Alrighty. We're going to open up Safari once again. But this time on macOS Catalina. Let's see the speed test on that. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, boom, about 3 seconds. About 3 seconds to boot up Safari, but let me just type in. Whoopsies. Let's type youtube.com. Okay. Alright, 3, 2, 1. It was literally that fast. I couldn't even. There was literally no load time. They put on full screen. It's a bit of artifact, like these weird effects like this. Don't know why I look like that, but it is what it is. Now let's type in no copyright sounds. Now let's test out that. Okay. Not gonna lie, it seems kind of the same. I don't really feel much of a difference. Seems pretty fast to me the way I'm scrolling. It's backwards. Ah, Mac OS. I'm so sick of that. I don't like up is down, down is up. Ugh. But the thumbnails are loading up. So there's that. So 16 gigs of RAM is doing its thing. It's still an old Mac Mini at the end of the day, but it's still acceptable in this day and age. It's still doable. And I can't play the video because I'm not signed in. But you pretty much get the gist of what's going on right now. 16 gigs of RAM is still doable in 2025. So if you're able to upgrade, you should be able to upgrade your old Mac Mini, if possible anyways. This is a 2012 Mac Mini, so I was able to do it, but you know, certain Mac Minis you're not able to, but this one you can. So there's that. So now that you've seen pretty much this Mac Mini and how it's performing on Safari and the like, I kind of want to install a different operating system on this thing. I want to install a Linux distro on this thing, and this is how I'm going to do it. So seeing as Rufus doesn't work on Linux, or more so, it's only available on Windows, what also works is a program called Ventoy. This one works on Linux. It's basically the same thing as Rufus, where you can have ISO on a flash drive, but what's different is, and I'll show you right here. So firstly, I have the flash drive into the Surface Laptop Go, and first thing you want to do is take the flash drive that you have that you want to like wipe. So you want to press install. So you can install Ventoy. So we're gonna press continue, double check, yes, it's gonna do its thing, and it's successfully installed. So now that we have Ventoy installed on the flash drive, what you can do, for example, is drag a couple of ISOs. For example, I have a few Linux distros right here on the hard drive, and the distro that I want to install on the Mac Mini today is a distro called Cashy OS, because I noticed a comment on one of my videos mentioning Cashy OS, and I just wanted to see how it actually looks and see, you know, how it actually works. You know, I want to see how it actually works on the Mac Mini. So we're gonna use this Ventoy flash drive, and we're gonna put in the Mac Mini and install Cashy OS today. So let's get right into it. All right, so we got the Mac Mini turned on. Flash drive is in, so we're gonna select EFI boot. And this is Ventoy. So if I wanted to, let's say, install Linux Mint, I would select Linux Mint. If I wanted to install Pop OS, I would install Pop OS, for example. But today I want to install Cashy OS. So let's select that in normal mode. Let's try that. Or not. Hold on. Okay. In Grub 2 mode. Whatever that means. Alright. Cashy OS. Yep. Alright, it's doing some things. It's doing some things. What is it doing? I don't know what it's doing, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out today. I'm just gonna have it wait and do its thing. Okay, I see some OKs. I see some OK lines. It's doing good. Why is this start job shit taking like 4 minutes? It literally has an SSD in here. This should be faster. I'm like, I'm still waiting. I don't know what's going on. Alright, 10 minutes has passed. It's still doing its start job. Let me try something to see what's going on here. Alright, so basically, after trying multiple versions of Cashy OS and being stuck on that, you know, start job line for several minutes, I was like, okay, this is not gonna go anywhere. You know, and you know what the funny thing about that is? On the iMac, on the hard disk drive, I tried to install Cashy OS on that. It didn't install, but at least it went to the installer, you know, where it's like, you know, you gotta pick where you do the setup process. It went to that on there, on that hard disk drive, that old ass hard disk drive on the iMac, but it won't work on this Mac Mini with an SSD. That's crazy. It's like, either way it goes, it's like in both situations it still had that, you know, start job, you know, line where it's like you're waiting forever and it's not going anywhere. So right now we're skipping Cashy OS, unfortunately. Maybe another time I'll try it, but you know, we're going to try Bazite today. So we're gonna try to install Bazite, and hopefully this manages to go through. So let me just start that process. So let me just get the mouse, and let me see. English, yep. Okay. Let me set all that up. Alrighty, it's gonna create all these thingamabobs on the SSD, And we're gonna see if it actually goes through finally, so we can get this video and move on. Uh-oh, I see some things going. Hopefully when it's completed, I'll get back to you on that. There we got Bazite right here. Let me focus. There we go. Exposure, my fault. We got Bazite preparing the system right now. When that's ready, I'ma switch that over. And here we have Bazite. Let me try to get into this thing. Let me see what's going on here. Alright, so I had to reinstall Bazite because it was an administrative user, so that's why I just said Bazite. But now it has my login, so I'm gonna sign in right now. We got the loading screen. Look at that, dude. Whoa, and already look at that. That looks so cool. I'm not even gonna lie, that looks cool. Look at that wallpaper, I like it. First impressions, it looks pretty clean right now. So we got Firefox, Steam, Lutris, this, that, and the third. Because from what I understand, Bazite is more like it's going for like a simple like install type of thing. You just install it, you just set it aside. It's more gaming focused. Actually, I watched a video where Jay's 2 cents installed Bazite, so that was also one of the reasons why I wanted to try it out. So I wanted to try CashiOS too, but it's like it wasn't really working like that. So it's like, it is what it is. So we're gonna try out Bazite today. Let me just try to let me sign into my Wi-Fi first. Okay, now that Wi-Fi is logged in, I know I see Firefox, but I'm more of a Brave user. I use both, but I mostly just use Brave. So let me see if I can install Brave on here. Let me see. What's this? Dolphin, Bazaar. Let's see what Bazaar got going on. I'm assuming that's probably their like app store, I guess. Let me just have that load up. Updates are available. I might as well do it now because I'm already up here. Install now. Alright, so while that's doing its thing, let me see what else it got going on. We got Heroic for Epic, GOG, Amazon Games. Let me see. Itch.io. Let me see. What else we got going on? We got a lot of things. Dolphin. What? PCSX2. Oh, wow. They got a lot. They got so much. Osu. Space. They got so much going on right now. That's insane, dude. Got OBS, this, that, and the third. What else? Discord. Wow, that's crazy. Everything right there. Spotify, Jellyfin, all these types of applications. You don't even gotta look it up. It's just right there, dude. We got LibreOffice. What they need? They need what is it? Fuck. What was the program that I used for Photoshop? I know there's Photopea. I know there's Photopea because I used to use Photopea for my thumbnails. But what was the thing? What was the program? Hold on. Okay, I remember. It was Affinity Photo. I use Affinity Photo now to make my thumbnails. They need Affinity Photo on here on Linux. That's what they need. They need Affinity Photo. Yeah, they just need Affinity Photo and a bunch of other things. But I'm not tied to Adobe. I don't really need to. I don't use Adobe. I don't have, I don't have to be tied to Adobe for that type of shit. I know some people are. They need Adobe for their jobs, but me, I could just use, Photopea, Affinity, but I use Affinity Photo for my thumbnails. What else we got going on here? Utilities, stuff you didn't need until now. What are these things? Easy Effects, Pi. I don't know what that is. CPU, X. I might download that later. Let's see. KeyPass, Bitwarden, SyncThing. Yeah. Oh, that's it. Pfft. Hold on. Are there web browsers? Hold on. Let me see if I can find some. Let me see. Whoops. I keep going in this corner, and that what for desktops? Okay. Let me just go back to mine. Okay. All right. So let me search. Yeah, Adobe Flash Player, RuneScape. Wow, they got so much, so many things. Let me see. Brave. Oh, they got Brave. That's cool. I want to download Brave. Install Brave. Install Brave. Yep. We're installing Brave. I want to see how fast the internet is. Is there a way to? Let me see. Is there a way to put it on the where is it? The taskbar. Hold on. Internet. Brave, new. Add to task manager, pin to task manager. Is that what that is? Okay, task manager, whatever. Okay, so let's open up Brave. What? Oh my god, we got Brave, we'll just do this, maybe later. I'm gonna let that rock for now. And we got Brave, dude. Oh my, we got Brave. Hold on, let me go to, whoops, I spelled it wrong. Fuck. Let me see, YouTube. Let's go to youtube.com. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so let's go to, let's see if no copyright sounds will work this time. Insane. Blah 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 blah. Okay, let's play a video. It's playing just fine. You see, I'm scrolling, and it didn't have that inverted scrolling nonsense that Mac OS had. Scrolling fine, moving fast, to me at least. It's moving fast to me, so, you know, for typical YouTube, this should work just fine. You see, as a matter of fact, am I hearing it from the Mac Mini speakers? Or is it from the monitor? Let me see if I can hear it. Hold on. Oh yeah, that's definitely the Mac Mini speakers. Let me see if I could turn it. Is there a way to... Where's the volume button on this thing? Hold on, let me move my hand. Is there a volume button? Whoops, wrong button. What did I do? Okay, never mind, that ain't it. Let's raise the volume. Okay. It is the Mac Mini speakers. But I got wireless headphones, I got Bluetooth headphones, so that shouldn't be no problem. But these speakers are decent enough, they're good enough at the end of the day. Alright, so I'm signed into Steam, and we're gonna try out some games. You probably already know what I'm gonna try out, but we're gonna try them out today on Bazite. So we got Imomushi, let's go. Let's see if they'll run. Ooh, the Vulcans, the shaders are like, quick! Y'all saw that? Let's see what's gonna go. Let's see what's gonna happen. Okay. How you full screen this shit? Game's running. It's running better than it was on the iMac. So there's that. I'm trying to play this shit with one hand. I'm sorry. There you go. There we go. Boom. See that? Where's the space bar? Oops. Let's see. See if I can do this shit with one hand. Yeah. No. Fuck. Come on. Come on. Come on. But I had it though. Come on. Fuck. Hop. Let's see if I can. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Oh. Hold on. Chill. Bye. I'm trying to do this. Okay. Yes. Let's go. Oh no, I'm not doing all that with one hand, but at least we know it works. Alright, the next game we're gonna try out today is Buckshot Roulette. Will it play this time? Let's find out. Let's get the shaders coming on. Come on, let's go. Will it run? Uh-oh. Wait. Can we get to the loading? It works! Yo, it works! No way! Wait, hold up. Let's press start. Let's see. Bro, what? Hold on. Let's get it moving. Come on. It's running slow as shit, but it's running. That's better than what the iMac did. Boom. please sign the... At least we know it's running. At least we know it is running. 1 live round 2. It won't even finish. It literally won't even finish. And this Mac Mini is hot. Yeah, that thing is hot. I need to check if that fan is actually spinning, but hey, but it works. Let me see. Fuck, I forgot what it was. Let's shoot the dealer. Will it work? Shit. Fuck. Yep. 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 Oh, thank God. I mean, with a little bit of patience, it is playable, kind of. This gotta be it. This gotta be it. This gotta be it. Bam! Yes, sir. Boom. But yeah, buckshot roulette, although a bit slow, it is indeed playable, I guess, on this 2012 Mac Mini. Alright, our next game is going to be Audio Surf 2. You already know what's going on right now. Audio Surf 2, we love this game. Well, I love this game. Modded, of course. We need that shit modded, bro. What? Insane. Well, let's see if it actually works. The mod actually works. Let me see though. Alrighty, we got our song of choice, His World from Sonic 06. Let's get it going. Oh my god. The mod works. Oh my god, hold on. Let me press play, play. Hold on. Oh shit. Oh shit. It works. Oh my god. I'm trying to play this shit with one hand. It works. Insane. Let's go. Oh my god. Yes, sir. That's how you know. We're doing real good with Bazite today. Uh-oh. Go on, hit it. There we go. Fuck. I could have got the full rose, but at least we know that Audio Surf 2 works as well as its mod. Alright, so one last game I want to try out. I'm going to try out an Epic Games game. With the Heroic Games launcher, you can use, Epic Games, GOG and the like. So I'm using my Epic Games account and I'm going to try booting up Rocket League and we're going to see if it works on this 2012 Mac Mini. So I'll get back to you when it's completed though. Yes, I know it is literally the next day, but I fell asleep. The download was taking a bit too long and it was damn near daylight again, so I just went to sleep. But we're back here again with Rocket League. It's fully installed and it's time to see if it actually works. So let's get right into it. What happened? For some reason the game didn't launch. Let me see what's going on. Let me see. Let's try it again. Let's try playing again. Okay, it say playing, but the game is not up yet. What happened? The game won't launch. I'm so confused. If I just click play now. Okay, it say playing and it's not booting up. Shit. Now, just because I'm curious, I want to see if Fall Guys actually boots up, because as you can see right there, it says this game includes anti-cheat software, which doesn't play well with Linux. So I'm gonna see if this actually launches. What the fuck? Hold on. What that say? Installing Epic Online Services overlay. Let's see if it actually boots up. I would be surprised if it works. Alright, I did not see it boot up. Let me try again. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute, bro, what? Is it loading? Ain't no way. No way. Hold on. No way, dude. No way. Can I press start? Oh my god. No way, dude. Alright, agree. That's insane. It actually boots up. Let me see if I actually could play a match. I don't want to do ranked. I'll just do regular knockout. I want to see if I could actually play. It's moving. Frame rate is alright. Oh my god. I have to see how it actually plays in a game. This ain't gonna work. This is insane. I'm trying to do this shit with one hand. Hold on. Never mind. Oh my god. It was so close though. It was so close though. But hey, at least the game booted up. That's as much. I was actually surprised it booted up at all. To tell you the truth, I really was honestly surprised the game actually booted up. So there goes Fall Guys. Alright, we're gonna try round 2 with Rocket League. I changed the wine version, so let's see if it'll actually boot up this time. I see the logo. I see the Rocket League logo. So I just need to wait for it to pop up. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Whoop, oh, well. Whoop, maybe not. No Rocket League today. Well, I've tried. Quick little nitpick about Bazite that I would like to add is when I go to the audio tab, it's like has this format as if you're about to code some shit out. This reminds me of when I was in like computer science class. It just has this type of if-then format, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, Bazite's supposed to be this simple like distro for like, you know, beginners and the like, and it's, you know, you just install it and, you know, it's a easy, you know, distro. It's like, why not just lay out the audio in like basic like English? Because it's like people go to the audio tab and they look at this shit like, what the fuck is this? It's like what's all this? And it's like module 8, module 9, like like it's a lot. It's a lot going on. And if you're into that, you know, more power to you. But it's like there's a lot. There's a lot of text. There's a lot of text, and I'm sure, like, you know, for an average user, they probably won't even know what most of this stuff means. But, you know, my basic, you know, criticism would basically just keep it, like, short and sweet, you know, just simple to the point, you know. And all the extra stuff, if you really want to see the extra stuff, there might be some, like, drop down, you know, maybe expand, if you really want to actually see these, you know, these extra details. But other than that, you know, like I say, you know, just, you know, try to keep, you know, simple for, like, the average person. But other than that, this has been Bazite on a 2012 Mac Mini. I really like how Bazite looks. It has all the things that, you know, like a gamer might want, you know, in the like the app store. let's call it like that, the app store. You can just download all types of shit that you might need, you know. You don't even have to Google it. You can just download it right there. That's what I like about Bazite. It looks so clean and seamless. It looks like even the wallpaper looks simple. I like that. Another tiny nitpick. I don't like how the time looks slightly bigger than the date. That's another tiny nitpick. I don't really like that. Maybe I just like it a bit more symmetrical. I don't know. It's a bit odd to me. But other than that, I kind of like Bazite. And if this was a, you know, more specced out computer, I might download Bazite and install it on that. But, you know, it's a Mac Mini. It does what, you know, you need it to do for simple tasks, you know, like YouTube and the like, and working flawlessly. Works no problem. And for games, if you're playing some lightweight like Steam games, this will probably play no problem. Obviously with like the online games, you know, it's gonna be hit and miss and all that. But other than that, for YouTube, you're good to go. 16 gigs of RAM, SSD, all that's banging good to go. If you really need to upgrade your Mac Mini, your 2012 Mac Mini, you really should. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video of me upgrading this old 2012 Mac Mini with 16 gigs of RAM and 500 gig SSD. This is a really, you know, I'll say interesting experience for me, because I had the interest of actually wanting to upgrade, you know, an older device to more so give it a new lease on life, so to speak. And seeing as not a lot of Macs are upgradable, you know, this 2012 Mac Mini is somewhat upgradable. That's why I sought out for it, because all you need to do is just swap the RAM, swap the drive, and you're set. There's, you know, other Macs where it's like the RAM is soldered and all that. I'm nowhere near that level of like expertise when it comes to soldering. I want to try to do that one day, but I'm nowhere near that realm yet. That's what I want to try to do. I'm nowhere near that yet. I'm not nowhere near that yet. But it was, you know, there was, you know, a bit of a, you know, some stressful moments. You know, I feel like I was gonna break something, and I felt like I kind of did with, you know, the RAM tab. I don't know if you saw it, but I saw it. I felt like I cracked the RAM tab a bit, but when I put the both sticks of RAM in, they, you know, clicked, you know, in a like interesting like click, you know, so it's like they fit fine, so at least they both work, so at least those RAM sticks worked at the end of the day. And to tally up the cost of this whole upgrade, let me get my phone, let me just get my phone and tally that up. So I purchased the Mac Mini on eBay for about $42.13. The SSD, it was a used SSD I bought on eBay as well for $25 flat. And the RAM I bought on AliExpress with the coupons and the coins discount for $11.86, leaving a grand total of about $78.99. Now, if you have this 2012 Mac Mini already and you just need the parts, that would have been a total of $36.86. So you probably don't even need to cheapen out like me. You could probably just buy the parts on Amazon. You literally could just buy the RAM on Amazon. But you know, at the end of the day, I wanted to see if it would actually work. I wanted to genuinely see if the AliExpress RAM would work, and it actually did. So that was a pleasant surprise for me. So I'm glad it actually worked out at the end of the day. But except, you know, the antenna part with the screw, it's a really tight fit, and I still haven't figured out how to get that sorted. I'm gonna have to take that to a shop and maybe they'll figure it out. But at the end of the day, this was a genuinely, you know, satisfying project for me at the end of the day, because I was, you know, I felt so involved in the entire process despite my anxiety, and I managed to make it work for the most part. So what I'm going to do with the Mac Mini, I genuinely don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep it long term, but it was a genuinely, you know, it was a bit of a fun, you know, project for me, and hopefully for you guys as well. If you guys want to try it out, you're more than willing to, you know, upgrade, you know, a Mac Mini like this for yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So if you like this video, please hit the like button and comment down whatever you want to comment. Maybe leave some tips and tricks, I don't know. Comment whatever you want. And if you want to see more videos from me, then you can hit the subscribe button down below. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Later. Later.